Doc, what's going on? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I love that shirt.
Well, thank you.
The Evara Health, man. We love it. I'm sorry I gave it to you late, the Luke Goedeke thing. Did you see that when I texted you?
Yeah, yeah. I took a look at it. I
Okay.
tried to find a video online, see if I could find the injury. I couldn't, but we can talk about it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there's something with the foot injury here and something that he's dealt with before. And it looked like they put him on IR. So they thought it was only going to be 3 or 4 weeks. But now Adam Schefter, and we saw it courtesy of our friends at Joe Bucks fan, that Adam Schefter says, and I don't know if it was a Freudian slip of the tongue there. Oh, well, 2 guys out for the year. And now you have to get, Greg Allman from Fox Sports is saying like, oh, they don't think it's going to be season ending, but they're definitely, you can tell that the level of concern is heightened. So what do you think about this injury as far as we know?
It could be a similar injury to what Bucky Irving had. It could be that bridge of the foot again, that Liz Frank joint injury. So initially, he injured it week 1 against the Falcons, aggravated it in week 2. So it could be that at the beginning they thought it was a mild sprain, so he took a week off, came back. The injury is a little more serious than they thought, so now he goes on IR. He's got to miss at least 4 games when they do that. So now it's a recovery. He's been noted to be in a boot. He's been noted to be on a cart, getting around practice. So it may be that he's dealing with that midfoot sprain type injury. So he could be looking at least 4 weeks out, if not a little longer. Hopefully it's not a major injury, in which case it is a season-ending type injury.
Doc, what can you say about the training staffs? Because I hear this, and I don't think it's right when people talk about this, but they'll say, oh, the Buccaneers need to get a new strength and conditioning staff. They need to get a new training staff. I mean, these are some of the best of the best, right? I mean, at what point, that's not fair, right? I mean, to blame these guys, it isn't, right?
It's not. I mean, these injuries happen. I mean, if you look across the league, the injuries are happening all across the league and in all different teams. So it's not the staff, it's not the training. I mean, it's the nature of the game. You have large athletes with impact and contact, and things get twisted and turned. So yeah, no, it's not the staff's fault. It's just a little bit of the nature of the sport that we're seeing some of these injuries.
Yeah, we say all that, and then they have these guys flying at them trying to take their head off too. That's certainly a variable. What do we know about the Zyon McCollum injury? Because they were mentioning about the thumb, but then we see him in a cast and a sling. I mean, this is a little more complicated. And then Todd Bowles says it's more of a pain tolerance thing. So, man, there's just a lot of variables to this one, Doc, isn't there?
Yeah. So that injury was week 5 against the Seahawks. He suited up, played, and now that he had a thumb procedure, right? So now we see him at practice, got a cast on. He's in a sling. The cast involved the thumb. So my thinking, in a position that he plays as a cornerback, he could have what we call a UCL injury, which is the ulnar collateral ligament, which is the ligament right here inside your thumb. And that provides the stability of your thumb. Basically, when you go to grab things, if this ligament is not working well, the thumb's going to be unstable. It's a big injury in throwers, and throwers can take 9 to 12 months to recover from it. In non-throwers, it's a shorter type injury because they don't have to worry about gripping the ball and having that thumb loose. So it could be a little shorter, could be anywhere from 4 weeks to a couple of months. I mean, that depends on the procedure, depends on what was done. Now, it could have been also like a little chip fracture, and they were taking a little fragment out. So then the time for recovery could be less, could be 3 to 4 weeks. Those are really the major thumb injuries that I'm thinking of. I don't think it could have been a major fracture because he would have been listed out for the year. So that ulnar collateral ligament is a very common injury. I tried to see the videos of the tackle when he potentially got hurt, and his thumb could have been twisted in such a way that could have been what happened there.
Is that the same? Because when I've heard UCL, it was with the elbow for a lot of pitchers. Is that the same thing, or is that different?
So it's kind of the. We have a UCL here, which is the ulnar collateral ligament. The ulna is essentially your little bone here. So essentially, it's kind of also the medial collateral. It's on the ulnar side of the thumb. Wow, so that's what we also call it UCL. It's basically a medial collateral, ulnar collateral ligament of the thumb. And it's right here, basically at your knuckle. We also call it the skier's thumb injury because it's very common in skiers holding the pole, and they don't let go of the pole as they fall. And then the handle will bring their thumb back and tear and sprain that ligament.
Wow, that's great stuff as always, Doc. We're here with the Evara Health Injury Report with our guy, Dr. Carlos Rodriguez. Really, really good stuff there because people are wondering, and and now they say it's pain tolerance, Doc. So do you think he could play this weekend?
No, I mean, if he just had surgery on it and he's in a cast and a sling, I'm doubtful that he will be playing Sunday. His recovery from even the simplest of surgery is going to be at least 2 weeks. There's going to be swelling in the area, and then you got to work on range of motion. Again, you could brace the thumb for certain things, but you still got to allow it to recover. So my expectation is that he's at least out a couple of weeks.
So Todd Bowles, and when I want to get your opinion on this as a doc, when you hear coaches say things, for media, we're a little jaded, right? We're just like, all right, well, believe it when we see it. Like, we can't take everything for gospel because we know that they're playing the game, right? They can't reveal everything. But when you see injuries and you hear things like, oh, it's pain tolerance, sometimes as a doctor, you look at them and go, okay, we know what that injury really entails, right?
Yeah, and there may be injuries where, there's certain knee injuries and foot injuries where pain tolerance could be the guide as to how you perform. But with this, knowing that he had actual surgery and see him that he's in that thumb tight cast, it's not just a matter of pain tolerance. Now he's recovering from a surgical procedure.
What do we know about the quarterbacks that the Buccaneers could face this weekend? Mac Jones, Brock Purdy. We know Brock Purdy has been so successful, gets the big contract. Mac Jones playing some pretty good football after his years with the New England Patriots. What do we know about this weekend?
Brock Purdy's dealing with the same injury Joe Burrow's dealing with, right? He's got a turf toe. So he injured week 1, missed 2 and 3, re-aggravated it week 4. Turf toe essentially is a hyperextension of your toe. So if I get my foot model again here, essentially what happens is your foot is in this position against the turf. The toe gets bent backwards as the heel is up. So it's a hyperextension of the toe. That creates a tear and a sprain of the plantar plate of the toe. So it becomes very painful to do anything when you're stepping, pushing off your foot. It takes time. Usually 1 to 2 weeks to recover on a very mild sprain, usually 3 to 6 weeks on moderate sprains. High sprains need surgery to repair the plantar plate. So it's a matter that we know that throwers, the force of the throw and everything starts from the ground up. So if you're not able to ground yourself and get that toe on the ground and push off, that's going to affect your throw. And plus, there's pain and mobility issues that come along with it. So Brock may be out another couple of weeks before he's back. Regarding Mac Jones, PCL, posterior cruciate ligament injury in the knee during training camp, aggravated at week 3 against the Cardinals. He now also suffered, he got pretty beat up against the Rams, so he also has now an oblique injury. Posterior cruciate ligaments are usually non-operative, so we don't do surgery for those. Recovery is anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks for a mild sprain, 2 to 4 months if it's a higher type of sprain. But you could brace the PCL for stabilities to prevent the leg from sliding back on the knee. For the oblique injury, we're looking usually about 3 to 6 weeks for mild sprains for recovery. Those can be injected to accelerate the process of healing. He has played with the PCL injury the last 3 games, done really well with it. He got banged up, so he could again see time against the Bucs.
It's going to be wild. I mean, a lot of guys going into that game not feeling 100%. Speaking of knee injuries, I sent you something about Brock Bowers, too. I know a lot of our people out there that play fantasy football or keep an eye on the Raiders. Brock Bowers, one of the best players in the game. What about his injury, Doc? Because I think a lot of people are wondering, like, is he 100%? I mean, it just seems like he's trying to gut through this, but he's not 100% either.
Yeah, so a similar injury to the one we just talked about. So that was reported as a posterior cruciate ligament and a bone bruise. He actually played for 3 weeks with those injuries, but his productivity, his movement, his tackling was not there. So he sat out the last game. He's been listed day to day. Again, posterior cruciate ligament injuries, recovery time 2 to 4 weeks. He played with this type of injury for about 3 weeks. So we will be looking at a rest period. I don't think he's going to play this weekend, take another week off. Maybe by the next week and the next game, he may be ready to give it another go.
Back to the Buccaneers. Chris Godwin missed practice again today. Is that alarming to you? I mean, they said it's a fibula injury, and we know that we had to deal with him in the past. I answered the question. I think you were watching. I don't know if I just think there's going to be normal kind of Russ said he's going to have to get knocked off. He's not going to come back. We saw it in the past when he returned from his ACL. It takes a little while, doesn't it, Doc? Is this cause for concern, or is this just one of those things where it happens?
It's the same foot, fibula. We know he had a dislocation, so that requires surgery. Likely some hardware plates, screws put in there. There's impact again involved in the sports that he plays. So could he have gotten hurt and there's maybe a little bit of a stress injury there, or just pain from the plates and screws in the stress of the injury? So it could be this could be more of a pain issue more than anything else, where he's just got a lot of aggravation from the pain, from the beating and the running and everything that goes on, and still the recovery process from having hardware in the foot. So in this case, it could be more giving him a little bit of time to rest, recover from maybe a banged up play or maybe a little bit of inflammation in the area, and then seeing how he does on a day-to-day basis after that.
Doc, I want to switch gears a little bit, because when you're talking about that, I'm thinking about me as a youth baseball coach and a lot of my friends that are youth coaches in other sports. What have you seen as far as youth football goes? If somebody asks you, hey, is it a good thing that my kid plays tackle football? Is there an age that you think maybe guys should wait until, because you see some guys play flag before they play tackle? What have you seen in your years doing this as far as kids and tackle football? Is there an age maybe it would be better for them to start at rather than starting them so early, or is this just kind of the nature of the beast kind of thing?
Yeah, no, the studies show that, it's okay to play at a younger age. You develop some skills. Now, it's the introduction of certain drills, certain hits that you want to stay away from, because the small body, young bones may not be prepared for those. So it's the same thing with concussion and head injuries, right? It's one of the big things when you look at youth football. It's essentially keeping away from the drills that may cause those type of injuries with more frequency, and then being mindful that if you see some sort of overuse or injury or some sort of concussion or head injury, that you're very mindful that kids can have severe consequences from those injuries. But starting at a young age, 6, 8, 10, playing small little league football, you're playing against little kids too. So the impact, the hit is not as hard. It's really practices and the drills, teaching them the right tackling techniques, teaching them how to avoid hitting with your crown or your helmet, hitting with your head, using more your shoulders, your body to tackle, appropriate tackling techniques. As long as you're teaching the appropriate mechanics, it's safe to play the sport.
What do you tell people that if you think your kid has a concussion, what's the first step, and what should they be doing as far as keeping an eye on their little one?
Oh, the first step is removal from competition. So we know that if in doubt, that's a mantra. If in doubt, keep him out. So if there's any inkling, any thought that there could be a concussion injury, the first thing is you're out. You're not coming back to the game. And then having them evaluated by someone who's a concussion expert. I've treated many concussions throughout the years. I used to work at All Children's Hospital in their concussion program. All Children's Hospital has a great concussion program going on also there. So the main thing is having a good evaluation and then careful in the return to play. There's a protocol when you're going back to play. It's not one of those things when we were younger. Oh, you just got your bell rung. Just go ahead and get back in there. We don't do that anymore. If you suspect a concussion, you're going to be out at least a week.
I remember I had one my sophomore year of high school. I was playing hockey. I was skating in one direction, and it was actually a friend of mine, and the puck turned, and we both turned at the same time. And then when we turned back, we were so close, and boom, we clapped heads. And I went to, we didn't really know. It just, and then the next morning I woke up and I couldn't stay awake in class. And I was like, I need to go home. And my parents had to take me. And what are some of the warning signs that you see? Because sometimes, yeah, it's apparent you got your bell rung, but is there anything that we can look out for? Because I know we have a lot of parents that watch the show here. Yeah. What are some of the telltale signs that we can keep an eye on? Maybe it's like an underlying concussion symptom.
Concussion symptoms vary. But if you're looking at the most common symptoms, headache, light issues, light bothers you, sound bothers you, concentration problems, some short-term memory type problems that not remember what happened during the game or shortly around the circumstances of the hit during the game. Those are usually the more common things that you see. Now, I've seen everything from the symptom could be the kids crying, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And all they have is emotional response to the injury. On the other side, loss of consciousness, right? That could be a pretty severe type of symptom. But but you have to be mindful of, it's not just a head hit or head impact. You could be hitting your body. And if your head changes direction, that changes in acceleration and changing direction can actually cause a concussion. So it's not just the head impact. You could actually be blindsided on your body and your head jolts the other way. And that's going to cause some concussion type injuries too.
Like
So
a whiplash, like a whiplash kind of thing?
Yeah, it's like a whiplash. It's just your brain inside your skull just kind of gets shook. And that can cause some of the injuries too.
Fantastic stuff. I know we touch on a lot of different things here on the injury report. Very grateful for you, Doc. Let's get back to the Buccaneers. Jamel Dean looks like he's practicing today. Could be out there. I mean, this is a guy where he's going to be a topic of the injury report every year. This guy, he's always got something going on. But what do we know as far as the Jamel Dean injury? And I'm sure it's a positive sign that he's back out there today with the Bucs.
So initially, the first report was hip and groin injury. Now it's down to just a hip injury. So it could be a sprain, could be a tendinous injury around the hip area, maybe just a mild sprain. It's a good sign that he's practicing and he's coming back. So there's no major injuries. We're not thinking about a major groin strain. We're not thinking about a labrum tear, which is a cartilage tear inside the hip. So the fact that he's practicing is a good sign for him to return this Sunday.
Terrion Arnold is a guy that has been a really good player for the Detroit Lions, and the Buccaneers will see them next week. But it seems like he's avoided some, season-ending stuff. What do we know about that? Because it's kind of wild, all the different, prognostications of what we think is going to happen. But it looks like it's not season-ending for him, it looks like.
Right. So initially, it was reported he had a season-ending shoulder injury. He sought a second opinion. That second opinion told him no. You should be able to come back by the end of October. My thinking is that the initial MRIs showed maybe what's called a labral tear, and I actually have a little
nice
demonstration here.
Yes.
So your shoulder is like a golf ball sitting on a tee, and that's inherently unstable because it wants to fall off. So you got to have structures that help it stabilize. So the shoulder has something called a labrum, which is a big piece of Play-Doh holding your shoulder in place. So if the labrum is thought to be torn, that ball is now, again, unstable. And the only way to fix a labrum is surgery. And the recovery from a surgery like that is usually 6 months. So at that point, you're thinking season ending. So he may have had a repeat MRI, maybe an MRI with contrast this time, seeks a second opinion. And then that opinion shows, hey, the labrum is okay. Maybe also no rotator cuff type injuries, no rotator cuff tears. So now instead of looking at season-ending surgery, we're looking at rehabilitation, some immobilization, strengthening process, and in a period of 4 to 6 weeks, he may be able to be back playing.
I was a pretty decent athlete, I guess, not tooting my own horn, but I played a lot of softball growing up and into my adulthood. And man, I'm just breaking down my left knee. I'm coming to see you, Doc. Left knee, my right ankle, but my right arm from throwing for all these years. My elbow's in bad shape. My shoulder's in bad shape. And for years, it was just my elbow. My shoulder was okay. And one day I picked up the ball and I threw it sidearm really quick. And I felt something right here. And it was like a burning sensation throughout my body. Well, I mean, I know it's impossible for you to diagnose me through the computer, but when something like that, was something I've never felt before. Is that kind of a normal
that could have
reaction?
Been a stinger, maybe a stinger, maybe you hyperstretch the nerves from your neck. I'm actually across the front side of the shoulder here. And sometimes when you get hit or hyperextend on the front here, or a stretch of the capsule can cause those nerves to fire up. And that's usually the typical stinger that you hear about, where you feel you get hit, the arm gets hyperextended, and on your hand and arm went numb. Takes a few minutes, sometimes just seconds, and then you kind of get your feeling back on that. Now, if it just happens in one arm, that's great. But if you get hit and it's happening on both arms at the same time, now that may be more of a neck injury, and that's more concerning.
Well, you're going to help put me back together, hopefully, Doc, so I can get out there and play some sports myself. Last one for me. We asked you about growth plate issues a couple of weeks ago. Another one of my players says what his dad was telling me is little league elbow. And this is a kid that he doesn't really, he doesn't throw a lot of curveballs. He doesn't do a lot, but he's 13 years old and, he's growing. He's getting bigger by the day, but he can't really throw because he's got little league elbow. What is that other than just a fancy term that everybody likes to put onto their kid?
So earlier on, we talked about the UCL in the elbow. You mentioned that, which is usually, the Tommy John surgery in an adult. You tear the UCL, you get Tommy John surgery. In a kid, the ligament is stronger than the growth plate, and there's a growth plate where the ligament attaches. So similar mechanism, the constant stretch from throwing on the inside part of your elbow. What happens is the ligament starts pulling the growth plate off the bone and starts separating it. So it's a similar type of mechanism. The injury is a little different because we deal with a growth plate type injury as opposed to a ligament tear. The treatment is rest. Rest from any kind of throwing, usually until the pain is completely gone. Once the pain is completely gone, we usually put the athletes through a throwing program. We look at mechanics. There are certain mechanics in the arm position, the slot, the release, that may contribute more to the propensity of developing elbow issues. So we try to fix those things and then go through a throwing program basically to get back to throwing and preventing injuries in the future. Very common in pitchers. It's not just the curveball. It's actually the amount of throws and sometimes mechanics. If you know how to throw a curveball and you throw it correctly, there's really no bigger stress on the elbow than if you're throwing a fastball. So it's really a matter of technique more than anything else and mechanics. But it's just really the amount of throwing and the constant stress that the ligament puts on the bone that leads to the little league elbow.
Doc, I'm fascinated that there's certain athletes, whether they're youth or pros, that you could, have an arm problem, you can't throw, but they can still hit. And it's fascinating to me. How does that happen where, it's like, yeah, well, he can't throw like Shohei Ohtani. Well, he can't throw Tommy John, but he can still swing. No problem. That's not going to affect him at all. It's one thing if it doesn't hurt him, but the fact that he can still swing the bat as fast as he can, and he's not doing any damage to, an injured elbow. How does that make any sense to the common human being?
Well, it's different mechanism. So you're not, the UCL is not under stress when you are batting. So if I'm left-handed, so if I'm throwing, of course, there's going to be a lot of stress here. But if I'm batting, there's no stress on the inside of my elbow as I'm swinging a bat. Right. Now, if I'm batting right-handed, I could have a little bit of an issue there. But usually it's just completely different mechanism and complete different motion of a swing of a bat versus throwing a baseball.
Doc, how excited are you for tonight? Lightning home opener.
Oh, excellent. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a great season. I was actually at the preseason game, the last one against the Panthers, and I had never seen so much fighting in one night.
Insane, man. Almost 500 penalty minutes in those last two preseason games.
Yeah.
Doc, you are the best, man. Our Evara Health Injury Report. It's our most popular segment of the entire week. I'm here at Benchmark International Arena. They're ready, man. That's how we finish the interview with the Doc, with the horn right here at the bench. Doc, I always appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend and enjoy the hockey tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Go Bolts.
You go.